through my journey, I've met a portion of people. And these people, they have impacted on my life, and I've impacted on their lives.
Before my daughter even introduced me to her, I was admiring her. It was a big place now, beautiful place. And you always have the sitting room, you have books to read, you see the coffee table set up and everything. And when everyone comes and they were gossiping, she would sit there in that settee and she would read a book. I never even know she could talk till after a time, and when I get used to her. Everybody was frolicking and saying all kind of things. Miss P would sit down there reading her book until her time come to get looked after.
The very first time I met her and we talked, I felt a spirit of love. That alone made me know, say, she's a daughter who deal with love. God is love. The spirit of God is really about love. And she have love in her heart and she share it with her fellow human beings. That's the love that she have, man, radiate from her. And anybody who comes in contact with her and knowing her for a time will experience this love that she shares, you know?
Yeah. One love, show them here. One love. Put up down, put up down. Come on. Yeah. One love.
First time people noticed, she saw the personality. She touched me, I felt certain energy. It's the last time I never felt before. Making me feel like I should rise, but I have to be able to take more medication because I feel like her hands had taken medicine from the Creator God.
P, or as Iyata, as some people call her, is really a very special spirit. And to have her come into your life and you don't get some joy or benefit from it means there's something not too right with you.
Happy birthday, Iyata. Happy birthday.
Yes, sir.
Prosperity.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Long life.
Keep the eye on the cake. She touched many of us here in the Bahamas. You know, many children she have in the Bahamas. So sometimes I, send a message to the children and tell them thanks for sharing your mother with us. You know what I mean? I know that you're her biological children, but we are her children too.
She really changed my life and encouraged me and moved me towards the entrepreneur that I am today. From the skills that she showed me and all the knowledge that she's like a warehouse of knowledge she just impart with Rastafari about eating healthy, about living with Mama Nature. Mama is just like goddess in flesh,
She's what I consider a true people person. Iyata love and attract people around her. Those, I think, are part of the things that make up the person, my sister Iyata. And for the good works that she does, always going up to the country, taking things. She reminds me a lot of Mother Booker in many, many ways,
Oh, hi, Mama. Happy birthday. How are you?
She just gets her
Sister Iyata is so highly spiritual. She's a real, true Rasta woman, and she has been my sister ever since.
Mama always encouraged us as her kids to follow our dreams, no matter the cost. Nothing was too big, nothing was too costly. She found it one way or another, and sometimes we marveled at how she was able to accomplish some things as a single mother.
She's from a line of strong Shaw women, starting with her mother Juliet and her sisters Norma, Louise, and Merle.
She was very adventurous. She used to climb the mango trees, go down to bigger, what's his name again? I forget the name, Double Ugly's place, and made some escapes from Double Ugly's place to reach home before Mama could drive through the gate, because she was not supposed to leave the yard, leave the house, to go anywhere without one of her sisters, our older sisters.
As little Pam grew and evolved, she evolved to Pat Davis and eventually to Mama Iyata. And through that journey, I've been privileged to witness firsthand the evolution of a woman to herself as a Rasta.
As I got older, of course, the lessons got more, not intense, but more, you know, a different nature. She's always encouraged me to be a very confident and loving, uplifting, positive, nurturing, hardworking woman.
This is what she has shown me as a shining example as to how people should be selfless and care for one another. But we're in a time now where things are in total disarray and every man for themselves and that. But it's good to know that on this planet we still have persons and people like my mom who still make a huge difference in the world.
When we decided to do music, you know, some parents and I'm sure people that she knew felt, you know, you need to discourage them. Music is not a job. It's not a viable way of living. You know, she was like, no. And she sold her house and she funded our first album, Crucial Substance, you know, with no reservation.
When you're ready for you rolling, give her a snap or a clap now.
You must make her hear Donovan's. What Donovan? Yeah, when I tell you I'm sure the car when the window open was like a chimney.
At her age, she can walk out most people out of Jamaica. She's fit. And you know, you have to wonder if the ganja, along with her eating habits and the fitness, is the way to go.
Along the journey, in my journey, in our journey, you know, we encounter, you know, light beings.
Yes, right.
That shows us that we're not mad, we're not lunatic.
Still love, give thanks for life, health and strength. Give thanks for the mighty life you have on the guide and keep up with death of life in this time. King Emmanuel the Seven Adonia, God, Jah, Rastafari. Give thanks for life, health and strength. Honorable Prophet Eric and Mama Steve. This one from Mama, Sister Iyata. Blessings.
And speak about life between 6 and 16. You know, that period between 6 and 16.
Really? Yes, right.
What goes around comes around. What's going up must come down. That's life. You give to receive. Do unto others what you want for yourself. Live to love and love to live. That's the circle of life. Stay on course and let the spinning wheel spin.
My name is Merlene Heholt, popularly known as Merle Heholt. I'm the eldest child of Luther Alexander Shaw and Juliet Ethelyn Shaw. My mother had 7 children. I am the eldest, the oldest, and 2 sisters died in infancy. The other 2 died when they were adults, and the one and only brother died at birth. Pam, as we used to call her, which is she's known now as Iyata, is the youngest, the wash belly, and I think she was spoiled in a way. But being the oldest, I was accused or looked upon as being the disciplinarian and the one that should make sure that you went to school, did our homework, keep off the streets, and you know, the usual thing that little girls would want to do.
I, Patricia Rose Shaw, later Davis, to this point of Mama Iyata, was born in Kingston, come to know myself in 16 Dinero Road, 19th of March, 1944. I was born to a beautiful queen, Queen Gillette Eslin Blackwood Shaw. My father, Luther Alexander Shaw, also from St. Elizabeth. I know he is my father. However, in my early infancy, a year plus, Luther departed this life, and leaving what was his talent was being a butcher.
My father died when Pat was about 18 months old. She wasn't even 2 years yet. So it was Mama who raised the 4 girls, and Pam being the youngest.
Growing up with sisters was great. I missed my daddy a lot. And we never had a physical brother, even though later years when I was about 9, 10, just sent us a brother. His name was Fitzroy Case. And so I learned, yeah, a brother love, not having daddy around. The sisters, Merle being the oldest, she would say that discipline was her part of her forte. And so we were close, but there was a little, you know, you're the last one, so you should be quiet.
I think she was very happy when I left home, because then she would have been able to do, as you say, do as she liked. And Mama worked very hard, working very irregular hours. And so Pat was able to, or Pam was able to do what she wanted, when she wanted. My other sister, Louise, was her favorite. Louise was very soft and quiet, and Pam liked that sort of feeling. So she had Louise wrapped around her fingers.
Norma, we called Nanny. And it's now that I'm older, I learned who Nanny of the Maroons is, because Norma Shaw was exactly part of that kind of a spirit, fearless, and not to be ruled by anyone. And then there was Louise, the genteel, the genteel angelic spirit, and that's how our house balanced.
My other sister, Norma, was a little bit more like me, and so she tried to keep her in line and to see that, you know, she did well at school and did what Mommy taught us to do, to be hardworking, to be energetic, and to be ambitious.
Schooling started at Excelsior for a short while, and then moved on to Morris Nibbs Proprietary on Hector Street, where there was a Miss Morris, a head teacher. My favorite subject was penmanship, and I lift my hat off to them, because penmanship, I wrote thousands of airline tickets, and people would back then comment on the fist.
Didn't want to do her homework all the time. And she had a slate. In those days we were using the slate, and she would purposely, or she did on one occasion that I can remember, broke the slate right at the corner, thinking that maybe she wouldn't have to do the homework in its entirety. But then Mama gave the orders, and I had this order to see that, slate or no slate, the homework was done.
From there,
Speak about not liking to do your homework, because when we were speaking.
I don't know, I don't recall all of that.
I recall as a child, two, maybe three things they would have problem with me. I would wander, not on the street. I would be in the yard, but they would know where I am because there was a mango tree, Julie, it's still there, where I would just climb up in there and I like to be by myself, you know, and I like to be barefoot from the time I was a child, so many objections was given to that. You should have your shoes on. Later I found I inherited that from my grandfather, Joseph Blackwood. Coming out of slavery, they said he never wore shoes.
She used to love to run up and down at the back of the yard. We had a place, Dinner Road, where we all grew up.
This is where we used to play. This is home, 16 Dinner Road. We all used to stand right here and take pictures. Our veranda. We bless the Stewart family for being here and allowing me to share the experience. Mama planted this mango tree, the Julie, and this was my favorite tree because it was short and I could climb it. And this is our water meter. This is where I would hide my sweetie and my chocolate. When I didn't want to share, I would hide it in here until the lizards started eating them. But they have done a beautiful work in keeping 16 Dinner Road, my birthplace, looking beautiful. It's changed a bit, but this is where I would sit at night and look at the stars. This was a very favorite spot of mine. Everybody would be inside and I would be right out here looking at the heavens. I would actually be talking to my daddy Luther. Yeah, that's where I would come and vibes him, tell him what's going on. Yeah. It was a good experience remembering this residence. This is where I learned to know myself. This is where my mother and father worked hard to provide this for us. But it was never just us here. She always had her relatives from the country. Somebody, you know, if you needed a roof over your head, my mother was that kind of person. We would have families in one room. And when she would do her marketing days, Wednesday and Saturday, she'd bring home enough meat. So not only that we ate, but everybody else who was under the roof could get something. And she'd be sending out to her sister and other people. My mother, Gillette, was a woman extraordinaire. You know, she raised 4 of us girls single-handedly. Being a butcher, twice a week they would do a slaughter of the cow at the abattoir downtown, and she would ride a bicycle, not for fitness, but her mode of transportation. She would leave home at about 12:31 a.m. to ride down to Port Royal Street to the abattoir. Later on, she was able to get her cousin to teach her to drive. She bought a car. She had an accident one morning on a slippery road, broke her arm.
What kind of car was it?
You know, it's a big old black car. I don't remember the brand. But later on, she got herself a new Morris Oxford. Those days, the car didn't have indicators. It was called a trafficator. A little green thing came out of the side of the car. Well, this is where Mom would park her car. I told Mrs. Stewart we had a step. She had a step built in here so we could go into the dining room from this side. And then things a little changed, but this was our backyard. It was, you know, the big backyard where we could, Norma especially, we were the outdoor ones. And I would follow back of her always, you know, going in the backyard. And we would go down to the gully. And there was a man at the top of the gully head, his name, they called him Double Ugly. And recently my sister Merle told me he was a Rasta. Yeah, never really saw him, but back then there was no wall, and without permission I would follow Norma and we would go down the gully and go up to the front and we'd slide off on the gully edge. Yeah, so 74 years of life brings me back to a spot where I learned who I am. Back then they called me Pam, and from my early childhood I just thought my name was Pam Shaw, until later I found I was Patricia Rose. But Pam Shaw was the little girl here.
Even at that tender age, and with us older sisters, she tended to like music, singing, and games, because we did games and at school. She also liked to dress nicely, comb her hair, and in those days we had to plait our hair. So if you had a 4-plait and she had a ribbon in the front or at the back of the head, in the hairdo, she was neat in doing her dressing, and nicely put together, dressed not too short, and she was very neat and tidy.
At 11 also, 11 plus, at the time I was attending micro school with my sister Norma, and after school that evening she said, let's go to the palace. Them days they didn't take bus, we walked. So we walked from Maraska Road to Palace. Along with us was Jimmy Tucker. And it was Norma's intention to be called up by Vera Johns to audition. Also Jimmy Tucker, they felt they could sing because she was the one first in the family to make a vinyl record. She made Our Father later on, but she knew she could sing. We were all gathered there as children, and Vera Johns looked out and he called up Jimmy and he called myself up. And I was like, wow, I didn't come for this, but he called me up and auditioned, and we had the show.
I think she came second.
I sang 2 of Nat King Cole's, Answer Me, Oh My Love, and Pretend You're Happy When You're Blue. It isn't very hard to do, and you will find happiness. The name was even in the star. Little Patricia Shaw had gone second place to Jimmy Tucker, who became a famous gospel singer.
Music ran in the family.
When I reflect and I'm saying this mic and phone and thing has been falling, that was my first time, 11 plus at a mic. And then my first work at about 16 plus at Jamaica Telephone Company. Again, I wore a headphone and, the phone. And then for all the jobs after, I was a telephone operator, again, using the voice. And then going to the Bahamas, I worked at 2 airlines, Bahama Airways, BOAC, and then Air Canada. Outside, I see you, and you see me. And so it goes. It's all on the outside, face, body, clothes, covering. Still the mind, the heart, and all other vital parts are on the inside. So the divine shines from the inside out. So let your light so shine that the world can see the Almighty God's Spirit lives within. So let your conscience be your guide, and unto thine own self be true. Man, know thyself, serve Jah with all your heart, your mind and spirit. The inner self is spiritual. Be thankful for all your blessings. Be true to yourself, respect others, and strive to grow into the spirit you came to be. So going to the Bahamas in the 1966, shortly after
I had the blessing to see His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie at close range because I was living at number 1 Harbour Drive, myself and Andrea at the time, which was the first house going into Harbour View. And so right on the curb where everybody was out. Well, a few months later, having seen the Messiah, I went to the Bahamas, to Freeport, where I was interviewed for a job with the Bahamas Air / BOAC at the time. And among other Jamaicans who were already there was Mawawa, Sister Maudrey Aleki, and Angela Chen. As Jamaicans, we kind of knitted because we were all coming to another country, we didn't know anyone, and so on. So the airline experience became again another, wow, is this really happening? Because leaving Jamaica, even working at Barclays Bank back then, complexion like this in Jamaica is hardly that you would even get in the door as an employee. So I felt blessed to have worked at Barclays Bank as a telephone operator upstairs. And working with airline, there were English people, Canadian people, American people, most of them were in senior staff, and a few of us as Black Caribbean people, Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, and Bahamians. And at that time, the Bahamians weren't getting as much jobs as they should because it was thought that education-wise, you know, they weren't ready for that. So then you came to a country where you see the potential beautiful people. They got beautiful beaches, a good, easy lifestyle, but the Black Bahamians weren't getting recognition. So change had to come.
She always thought big and accomplished that, not in just that aspect, but in life, you know, whatever she wanted. And she encouraged us to do the very same. You know, when you talk about giving love to strangers, there was a time I remember when she used to work at the airline. She worked at Air Canada for some 20 years. You know, wake up as a child in the middle of the night to use the bathroom and there's a stranger in the house. You see a Caucasian lady just stretched out in the couch. Who could she be, you know? It would be somebody who, you know, mentally was not prepared to travel or didn't have the funds, or, you know, the airline didn't want to take any risk because they were going through something. You know, maybe, I think at one point, one of the persons that she brought home was suicidal. So the airline didn't want her to travel, and Mom would bring them home. Feed them, house them, counsel them, take care of them.
So again, you watch Freeport grow, and it was like I said, you know, there were times when you met Bob Hope. My first person to check in as a celebrity back then was Bob Hope, Satchmore, the Tavarises. You met Kim Novak, Teller Savalas. These people came to Grand Bahama, and then after a while, all of that stopped, and the place went into a little slum.
My recognition and time of real appreciation for Auntie would have started from about 9, 10. And boy, she had such energy. But by the time you got to know her and appreciate her at that time, her career took her away to the Bahamas. And we only used to see her in spurts. Beautiful, beautiful lady. And excitement when she came into Jamaica. Eventually, I learned about the excitement when I went to the Bahamas on a regular basis as a college student in Florida and saw the real Aunt P in full appreciation for life. Everybody knew her. When you got there, you thought you were a VIP. She knew everybody that was anybody, not just in the Bahamas, but practically around the world. And we met so many very important people through Aunt P that we realized pretty soon that Aunt P wasn't just our Aunt P, she was a movie star on the move. She was a VIP everywhere. People wanted to touch her, to hear from her, to party with her. She was a party person. In tutu, she could throw a party. And that was really a fantastic time in our lives.
Being blessed beyond measure, she would turn nothing into something, whether it be, there was a point growing up, we lived in a very big home, as a single mother. Some never understood how she accomplished it. We lived in a very big house. There were always people around. She always had this thing about, we're just going to have a little gathering, it's somebody's birthday, it's somebody's wedding. She was always either the wedding counselor, the counselor. She was the wedding planner. She's the midwife. She's the psychologist. That's his mom, She would decide that, okay, this evening it's a Friday, any given day of the week, it didn't matter. We're going to have a little gathering, a couple people over. And by the time 1, 2 came, by the time you looked, the whole street just blocked with cars. It became this huge gathering. She would tell 1 and 2, bring a little, little potluck. You bring a little bottle, little food, little something. And by the end of it, it was always a massive party.
Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. I had to make it. 2nd month, I made salesperson of the month. I was now working with the Princess Real Estate Division in Freeport, Bahamas. I won a trip to Las Vegas and I had a fabulous time. Was escorted and sat at Sammy Davis's table where his wife and other celebrities were. High time of my stay. On getting my ticket at the Caesar's Palace, this gracious man, Sammy's manager, came up and asked me my name. I said, Pat Davis. He said, follow him. And that's where we sat at Sammy's table. After the show, I saw the gentleman, thanked him, and asked him, how come? He sent I to the head table. His reply was, you did not belong in the back. No. I'm leaving from airline, which was bread and butter, children to support, mortgage to pay, school fees, etc. And I'm thinking now, a friend said, why don't you try real estate? I never been trained for that. He said, yeah, man, you can do it. With encouragement of Andrea again, she said, yeah, mommy, you can do it. And I'm saying, you sure? She said, ain't no stopping us now. And that's how we tried it on.
I went to our home a couple of times before that. And that's where I saw a lot of people. Used to meet the governor, various senators from the Bahamas. Sidney Poitier's nephew, our cousin, was a good friend of hers. And a lot of highfalutin people we would pass through. So, and she would visit me in Miami at my own apartment. And when she come over to the shopping, I would say a lot of her in that respect.
Lifelong experience with this child here, my love, long time. I met her in the 70s. Then she was living in the Bahamas and I have a daughter living there and I visited. And from the very week I visited there, I met her. And we have never part until today. As much as she lived there for how much years? Both when she was there, going to and fro, we never parted. When I in the Bahamas and when I like in the evenings and I'm lonely and all that, you just drive down to her house and we stay down there and we have, oh, she has such a beautiful home. Everybody look for recreation at your house. When you hear they finish working, it was just a lovely gathering there all the time. And never disturb you. No. Because that house was so big. And when you step in there, this side, that's her side, but it's the same house. And you just, when you look, there's another house. Kitchen, everything is there. Living room, the same place there. The bar set up, any drinks you want, it's there. Oh my goodness. It was good. It was good. Sometimes you see people, you look at them simple, but you don't know where they're coming from, yeah?
Real estate. You're living in a nice home, transportation,
My daughter, Andrea, is away to school in Canada. Therron at periods is now over to Florida Air Academy in Melbourne, Florida.
My mother believes very strongly in education, and she worked very hard to ensure that myself and my siblings got the best that there was available. She also believed very much in supporting our passion, and she is that guiding light, as I said before, who embraced and exposed us to a lot of the good that she found in this world, including music. You know, we grew up in a household of music.
Big school fees, big overheads. Renee and I are together still.
We're driving, going to school, somebody gets knocked down by a car, she feels compelled to stop. And you know, she just always wanted to help. And you know, I look at myself now as a grown woman with children of my own, and there's no guessing as to where I got those attributes from. I remember even Mom, when she worked in the hotel industry, she brought superstars to pick me up from school. I remember Benson, Robert Guillaume, brought him to school, the Globetrotters, and she's met so many and rubbed shoulders with the likes of Yul Brynner, Sammy Davis Jr., Michael Jackson, you know, checking him in as a child with the Jackson 5. You know, her life is so colorful.
But with all, you would say success, and some people would say you're at the pinnacle of success. I found I was hungry for truth. I found I was empty. I remember driving out to a beach miles out of town one Saturday. When you got there, there was no one. And I asked Jah as I cried, because remember now, I know the Jesus. Yeah, you've been through the church, leave, Catholic Church in the 70s, moving on, Apostolic Church, like my mom, I searched. They baptized me again in the sea out in Freeport. I move on, but I still empty, and I asked Jah, I say, give thanks for this life, but I want to live. I don't want to just exist. I don't want all this to bless me with things and success and people and love. I want to live. And unless I find that fullness, empty. So I lock up house. Two oldest children are away, and Renee joined the other two in Miami for school at Killian High. She was there with Andrea and Therron. He was at Miami-Dade. Andrea had finished FIU and I think was working. When I come home, still not cream in here anymore, more natural, searching. And like I say, the first change comes from how you eat, because you have to start cleansing from inside. And I did go to the spa with Eartha in Florida, and the man show you how to fast and food nutrition and all this. So I start learning. So from there now, I come a yard, like more conscious, say, well, this thing say you have to eat, start cleansing from inside. I don't even know how I found Sister Minnie, but I found Sister Minnie, Ethiopian restaurant. At the time, she was where the U.S. Embassy is now. And so that's where I would go for healthy eating, because only she one was doing it then. And having met Sister Minnie, because at this time I don't know Rastafari like that. I still into the Jesus, the Christ, but not full in the sense that I have the fullness and understanding that it keep my spirit high. My hair was, like you said, coming not jerry curl, it was more natural. I kind of cut it low and stop putting in henna and stop creaming, so it come in. Meeting Sister Minnie was an awesome experience. I looked at her as like a warrior queen, princess, you know, tall and running business, the kind of business she's doing now, not many people were doing. She was the only one. And this particular Friday evening, I got there, maybe had something to eat and was sitting where the juice bar was. And this younger Ras came over and we started reasoning. And as we chat, him turned to eye and said to me, look me in the eye, you know. I never forget those eyes. And he said to me, Mommy is a Rasta, you know, you just don't know it. I said, are you a Rasta? He said, yes. The king's son was called Oku Onuoro. Until I first said, you are a Rasta.
Every step them must step. Trouble says every tone them make I tell.
I am known as a poet, a dub poet. I am a dub poet. Because what me do is dub out consciousness, for dubbing a little consciousness and, you know, take that process even further in dubbing that poetry into music. So it's a dubbing process. For me, my poetry is really my choice weapon. This is what I use to carry out my assault on the system and Babylon, as I heard her say. You know, there is nothing more valuable than the strength of others, you know, to actually strengthen you. Because when you say strengthen up people, you know, it encourages you also, you know. I am more known these days as Oku Onuoro. So a lot of people might be more familiar with Oku Onuoro. But you know, the journey we are talking about, you have to talk about from where we are come from, the roots. Because if you forget your roots, then you know where you're there, much more if you know where you go. You know, so yesterday, today, you know, yeah, if you know consistent, then where will you be tomorrow? In our journey through life, we encounter souls. And there are some souls, when we encounter them, there's a recognition, there's a bonding, there's a connection with that other soul. You never ever give thought that you, as an individual, that you know, I never ever see myself really affecting, impacting others. And then, you know, when you realize that you have really contributed to someone's realization of whatever it is, self, you know, whatever it is such an awesome feeling. It's such a beautiful feeling. One such encounter was like around 1987, 86. I met a sister in Iyata by a restaurant, Minnie, yes, Sister Minnie. You know, Sister Minnie, awesome soul. And this was a place I would visit, you know, because, you know, I cued her, you know, my lifestyle, you know, and the, you know, the whole fraternity that I was a part of, Rastafari. This was one of the watering hole. This was one of the oases. This was one of the meeting spots. This is one of the grounding spots. So on this particular day, I passed through Minnie, and I was introduced to this sister Iyata. And there was something about the sister the moment I met her. And as usual, Minnie facilitated meeting of ones and ones, reasoning. You know, this was one of the places that facilitated that. So, you know, we started to reason. And the conversation was about, you know, life, one's journey, where one is going. And I realized that this sister was on a quest, was on a search. Not that she was lost, but, you know, really struggling to understand where she was, where she had to go, where she was going. And the whole question about being Rasta came up. And I said to her, but you're a Rasta. Because her utterances, our reasoning showed me that. But, you know, she, you know, Rasta, because then she wasn't saying Rasta.
Them day me what you hear of Rasta, remember now me leave home from after me see His Majesty in 66, only stay conscious to music, because me would sell music, me used to have plenty parties, me make sure me come home every minute and get the newest records. And
it ingratiated our DNA so much that we all eventually became professionals in the music industry. But that passion started at home, for Jamaica, for Jamaican culture, for Jamaican music, but for music in general. You know, from Motown to jazz, from pop to hip hop, we had a very rounded palette when it came to music in our house.
Me keep Freeport, the children about reggae, Rasta music, me introduced them to that and me kept that alive. And kept myself alive too. So coming home now, I tell, man say me Rasta, say what? How you going to survive? You have mortgage to pay up, so house lock up. I decided to get a lunch wagon and call it Aunt P. When I get it, I don't even have car to hook it up to, because you have to move it around every day. Bless Robert Franklin. Yeah, he said, P, you need a car, I'll lend you a car. And him get the trailer thing put on for me. And so I get a help. I moved to Morosco Road. Aunt P used to be parked out there under a tree. Had lots of fun. They would have said, the first time I go in New Kingston with it, they would have said, Duppy, turn it over, the man them outside. Say, because everything cooked, the curry goat, the big pot, everything. And someone had disconnected the hook from the car, you know, the trailer hook. And Marcia, I just feel when the lunch wagon just pitch up in the air. All the food got sliding, everything turned over. And a taxi man come and say, Miss, when you go and hold a spot, you know, you have to pay the spirit them. You never bring no white rum. So I said, no. I never know all them things. Him say, yeah, you can't just come occupy a spot, sir. You have to bring some white rum and bless. So I'd move from that spot. Anyhow, Aunt P came now with, I just getting into food, so I started what they would call the Weight Watchers salad. I would make salads and give them maybe a little bit of tuna, little broiled chicken shredded, but more greens, the lettuce and the tomato. And my first set of people that, because I started working from home, from an apartment, were people at Bartley's NCB now, right in Halfway Tree. And then RGR, through my friend Harley, got me customers. And then I got the lunch wagon. I never worked so hard in all my life, going to market, picking up this, doing that, delivery, driving Kingston. Marcia, it was hard work, but again, it teaches you when I say, if mama could do it, you can do it, you know? And so it went on like that. It was like, you know, just show you you're never ever alone, because when you feel forsaken, as I did at that time by people you knew or you think you know, but you start going through change and then everybody kind of draw away from you. Jah always send soldiers in. Jah never late and he never fails. Me can testify to that. My whole life is a miracle. All me reach 74 now, biggest miracle there is to see. You understand? Because only Jah know. So the 80s was a time of change, you know, where, hey, like I said, get into the church at the time before Rastafari, you go into Apostolic Church. I remember friends coming into the home in Freeport and they're outside in the car and they have the scotch and some have the rum and them say, boy, Miss P, something wrong with Miss P, man. Miss P said, no liquor in our house. The bar closed, you know. And the change, I mean, I said Rastafari yet, the change was coming and an overnight thing. You have to stop eating certain things, drinking certain things. And then to implement this in the same 80s, like early 80s, I learned about the herb from one of my nephews. And how he convinced me that I could try it, because he knew I was always told that it would make him mad, and it was an evil thing. He said to me, Mommy, my Norma, he said, Norma used to smoke it, you know, Mommy, but she wouldn't let you know because you were so afraid of it. And I said, but it makes so-and-so mad. And he said, no, Auntie, it won't make you mad. It will keep you calm. You might tend to laugh a lot and, you know, just know who you are around. You don't just take it from anyone. Certain advice.
Marijuana, we love marijuana. Said the old West who love marijuana.
Herb is so good for everyone, you know. Today they're telling you for cancer, for rheumatism, for asthma, for everything. And the beauty of this, as the son say, this thing going on a long time. And even though you have fight and tribulation towards the herb, we know we're doing a good thing. So it's not like we're guilty of anything, wrongdoings. It's the healing of the nation. Jah put it here like the scale and the time, everything is part of, you know, say, grow what you eat and eat what you grow. So not only we eat it, we use it for tea, we use it for medicine. I want them to know that this is a Rasta thing. The Rasta man been going to prison, getting beaten, getting abused for the ganja, for the herb. Smoking the herb, planting the herb, using the herb, all of it is godly. And that's what we defend. We defend the herb, we recommend it, we advertise it, and we say, let Jah will be done.
Without the Most High Jah in your life, life will beat you up and down, for His majesty is the strength from within. Humility and surrender is a must. What power have I on my own, mere mortal? A being who was formed by a union between father and mother, nurtured and warmly grown in the womb of a mother. And as the baby grows on the inside, hearing sounds and voices, learning begins, and life of spirit grows, flesh and sinews. Oh, such a miracle! And where there is love, life grows. Once birth takes place, life is now viewed from the outside.
So in 1987, just before Gilbert, I had decided to return to Freeport.
My name is Jahmal. Alexander Road. One of Mama's many sons in the Bahamas, you know. Me and Mama supposed to meet in this lifetime, you know. It's mystical how me and Mama meet because I knew her from, she had Shorecroft in Port Lagaya, but we never met intimately. But during a time coming and going between here and Jamaica, we got to make that mother-son bond, you know. Every time Mama would come from Jamaica, because I was a man who did a mobile service, we used to hit the road and sell all the goods. She would bring stuff from Jamaica. And you know, it just was a joy being around her and an inspiration to see. Like, she was like the only Rasta woman around here almost, you know, and an elder. So she brought the fireman, you know. She showed the Empress them, because we had a lot of Rasta man around here. But when Mama come, she bring that female energy around here, you know, and inspire the daughters. So it was a joy moving through with her and, you know, interacting with her and just building that vibe, you know. And I mean, we did that for years. Every time Mama would come from Jamaica, we hit the road and we just go sell goods, you know.
I know Mama for many years still. She was a youth. And I probably was like 3-4 years old, you know. A little prior to that still. We used to live in the same zone. So I always know, say, the elderly youths cross the road. And a king man at that time still know the youth, today's live the world at night. So let's say time passed, still everyone went their separate ways. Through the order of Rastafari, you know, we link up again. Say that was about 1996. You know. And the vibes start coming in, like, remember from timing, she had the store in Port Lagaya, early apart, early 90s type vibe. But at that time, me and certain brethren, couple brethren start charting Rastafari. And just how life go, Mama seek us out same way, time brought it well. All let's link up.
Mama really inspired me on my journey because I'm a restaurant owner, and one thing I could say, every time Mama come down, she cooking for everybody. You understand me? So it was a joy tasting the different variety of spice she would bring, you know? That Jamaican flavor, you know? So, like I say, she was a big inspiration in me going on my business journey, you know what I'm saying? Because I dealt more with the natural juices and smoothies and stuff, and she just encouraged me. Each time she would come, we would just work together and hit the road, and everybody, when she gone, everyone like, where's Mama, where's Mama? So she left a lasting impression in Grand Bahama, moving through, interacting with the people, you know what I'm saying?
Especially in the Bahamas, it's like a different vibe. It ain't like how it'll be as free in yard. It's a fight same way, you know. You know, I know it's a fight in Jamaica, same way, just through our stuff. Everyone will throw you on the side. But then I have an elder person still showing you that inspiration and showing you keep pushing, keep going, you know. That was a continual strength. I was like, true, she was the only one in this part still of certain age and an empress still. Not really like a young sister moving through. No, a senior woman who catch on in the water and moving and chanting it and balling out Rastafari anywhere she go, declaring the glory of God still. So that was like a light in the dark still.
If I had separate times and separate lives, right? My life and Mama's life would have crossed paths multiple times without even knowing, you know. So you might chance by meeting some person once, you might chance by meeting them twice. But when you have multiple times and multiple people that cross paths at multiple times in life, I mean, it's only the Father, you know. So for me, I don't have a single time. I think back of paths just crossing, whether it was from Captain Black, you know, Nelson, who I spent many a time with on the ocean. Spent years with him. I never knew he was connected to Mama.
So spiritually, I was with her and didn't even know, you know.
Just before then, Brother Trevor, who had a bus in New Kingston, craft shop, I asked him about a pair of sandals, red, gold and green sandals that he had in the store, because we used to trade. And he sent me on to 1 Abbeydale Road to Bridget Brown, who was now manufacturing the Jahmal, it was called.
My mom is Bridget. She's the owner of Bridget Sandals, one of the leading handmade leather sandals designers in the world. And I say that very humbly, not boasting at all. She was one of the first people to ever carry my mother's and my father's product to the Bahamas. My dad used to make something called moccasins. So my dad and my mom would design these handmade moccasins. And Iyata would come in and she'd buy them by the dozens, I tell you, boy. And she said, boy, the people in Bahamas, they love you guys' product. And she'd take them over there, suitcase after suitcase. I mean, every time she went back to Bahamas, she'd have a line of people just waiting there for these handmade moccasins, 100% leather from us, straight out of Jamaica.
So we met, we invested. It wasn't a whole lot of money, but I bought some along with belts from others. Rasta this, Rasta that, t-shirts, cassette, whatever, and put together in my suitcase to take back, to trade.
Why I came up with the name Shawcraft for her shop is because I know it's important for her name, the name she grew up with, Shaw, and wanted to put it out there. And it was pretty much, you know, it came to my head, you know, Shawcraft, it just rang a bell, and she heard it, loved it, and we went with it.
Bearing in mind, Oku has now said you're a Rasta. I'm now wanting to learn who and what is Rasta. When I got to Freeport, I remember the custom officer saying to me when he opened up the suitcase and there's all the red, gold and green, and he said, Mrs. Davis, be careful how you deal up with these colors, you know. It can grow on you. So I just smiled, you know, you get little messages along the way. So we tried trading, and then Port Lucayo, which was a new mall that they had just constructed while I was away in Jamaica, and it had just opened. And it was right on the canal amidst all the big hotels facing the beach. And I moved forward to rent a store. Like you go ask, what make you doing these things? All I can tell you is spirit. They required of you to tell them what you're going to, how you're going to decor, you know, the store, what colors and what you're going to do. And I said, just a Faisal mat I brought from Jamaica, hand-woven mat and painted green, and didn't have much stock, but you're going to try. And after a bed vision just showing, I said, no, it's going to be red, gold and green, not just green. So you take time and put in the colors. And
Shawcraft was at Lucayo. Beautiful, beautiful. You would believe she make that kind of life there when you go there and see that place. Because no foreigners that have business there, place never even look as good as hers. She had everything you could think of in that store.
Lo and behold, that was not very, it didn't bring a good feeling to the owners who were English. And, you know, they would ask, well, why are you doing this? And how can I explain to them why you're doing it? Spirit, tell me do it. Well, after a while, they ease up, because in the mornings when I'd go, I'd put the speaker on the outside with the music, and most of the time it would be Bob Marley music, start the day. And the tourists would be busting from the harbor, and some come with taxis, some come on boats, and once they hear the music, everybody was heading to Shawcraft. And it got so that some days you'd have to close the door with who is inside and wait for those to shop and let them out for the others to come in.
Well, she had native things, but you know, she never leave her Jamaican stuff. When you want to find Jamaican stuff, you could find that in her store. You don't have to go to the other stores and when you see only Bahamian things in their store. She always have a mixture of things, mostly Jamaicans too. Little people love that.
My favorite items in the store, I could say first and foremost, probably would be the music, CDs, books, you know, Burning Spear, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Steel Pulse, and, you know, books, philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey, anything African. The walking canes, the canes, the walking canes from Jamaica, you know, that she would bring from Jamaica and carry to the Bahamas, the artwork. Those are my favorites.
So after a little while of that, the neighbors, the other tenants, called the police and they told them that I was selling ganja because there was no way. They had their store open way ahead of mine. I'd be opening all 12 o'clock in the day and they opened from 9. And people would be sitting on my step waiting. And the store with ram jam, door closing and incense burning, and they see the smoke, but it was incense. And of course they would say, well, you know, she got to be selling the thing. And people, all these white people, because mostly white people wanting to buy the colors, because back then Bahamians didn't have the awareness what the colors meant or to be a part of that. So the store grew, small store, to next door. It went down to next door, a bigger store. And there now you could get the full entrance of Shawcraft. You had 2 show windows on the front and they could either have Malcolm X out there or you could have Martin or you could have a Bob Marley. You had a section for craft, a section for art.
And then of course, you know, other people's favorites would be, you know, the t-shirts, the belts, you know, calabash, incense, oils, anything to do with, you know, a holistic, health conscious, you know. You found that, you know, these are the things that, you know, you could get there. Because like I say, it's an experience. So a lot of the products, sandals from Bridget, you know, just, it was like a meeting place for crafts and talent to come together and using Jamaica as the springboard to have their products be sold into the Bahamas, and then somebody from the States take it from the Bahamas and take it to the States, and you know, where'd you get that from? And yeah, so basically everything in the store, you know, had a purpose and had a home to go to.
It took me a lot of traveling to go around, things from Africa, things from Trinidad, things from Jamaica, things from Bahamas. And it was really, you know, an awareness, and you'd say, well, what drew the people? Again, the music. At first, Bahamians didn't want to come in the store. Even people who I knew didn't want to come in the store. It was just too African, it was just too, and not Africa alone, it was just too Rasta. And when they saw the youth coming in and like Friday evening after school and they piling up, of course they would think I'm preaching for them to smoke ganja. So everybody was warning their children, do not go into the Rasta shop. You know, they're a set, and just how the government back in the late 70s in the Bahamas, after Bob came and exposed the people to the music, they said, do not allow any Rastas in, and that was in their immigration books.
Yeah, no. The ones who were curious, or the ones who didn't accept, you know, Rastafari, the colors, be it red, gold, and green, or Bob Marley, or Herb, not that she sold herb in the shop or anything, but you know, just the t-shirts, the pins, the badges, the belts. You found that a lot of ones who used to fight against it, frown against it, was taking the time, creeping, coming into the store. So the atmosphere in the store was like a revelation then, as to people who were like hesitant, like you see them take time, come around the corner and, you know, peeping, and a lot of time it would be like the young kids coming, and then their parents would like, what you going, you know, and soon they start to come in and say, okay, well, I don't want to get the Rasta belt, but I want to get that CD, you know, or I want to get that painting, because she would also have artwork, paintings and stuff. So the atmosphere is very catchy. I would say the atmosphere was contagious, that's the word, in a good way.
So what His Majesty did was to take from within, you know, a female spirit, you know, one who, as I learned, the youths were learning with me. It wasn't that I was coming so learned. While I learning, Brother John say a chapter a day, you know, and keep reading and keep reading, and reading any book, reading any documentary, just listening and opening up your heart, because at the Spirit I know what I'm looking for to be filled. It couldn't be done by man. It was only through a divine Spirit I could get sought out. And so I welcome the Spirit of Rastafari.
I met Pat Shaw in the summer of '87. And at that time we were making some moccasins, some shoes for her store in the Bahamas that's called Shaw Craft. The day when she came into the store, I met this beautiful brown lady, and we struck up a conversation, and we hit it off from then on. And she was a very interesting lady in the fact that, apart from doing her craft, she was very interested in sharing stories. She was someone who our spirits clicked. So we had a commonality from the get-go. In preparing the stuff for her store, we got to be in depth in more conversation. And as a person who reads my Bible daily, we at some point in time got to the conversation of reading the Bible. I told her, well, we read the Bible a chapter a day from Genesis to Revelation, and she was very receptive to this.
In Freeport, I had help at first, you know, and over the first year or so there were changes and new people came. I had Sheila for a spell and others, but the real Rasta work started then Vince came, because he was a young Ras coming.
My story began in the early 90s. I had the privilege of working with Iyata. She had a shop back then. It was called Shawcraft. And she started that shop with the intention to bring forth the light of Emperor Haile Selassie I to the islands of the Bahamas, and especially Grand Bahama. So I was basically recruited as an employee back in the early 90s, and my journey with Iyata has been one of great strength, wisdom, courage, and she's a good character, and a nation builder. We worked together, Shawcraft, we worked in the early 90s, for 2 years, and our journey was a mystical one, you know, and I'm grateful for Iyata, you know, bringing forth that light, that intelligence, that courage of the feminine principle, for also
the other people before weren't feeling Rasta. It was a job. As Marilyn would say, it wasn't just a job. For them it was a job, and it paid well. And it was an exciting place to be in, and you'd meet people from all over the world coming in and so on. But it wasn't part of your design, so changes came about.
I was a young girl at that time, seeking Rastafari, just coming into Rastafari and open to knowledge of Rastafari. I was working that time at the straw market downtown Nassau, and I had taken a break to go to the restaurant for lunch. It was a vegetarian restaurant, not too far from the straw market. So as I was in the straw market, I see this Rasta woman came up to me. And Rasta woman older than I am, which I didn't really get too much opportunity of meeting any elder women in Rastafari at that time. And she came up to me and she said to me, she greeted I and she asked I what I name, and you know what I mean? I told her what I name, and daughter, she said, just sent me to look for you. So I'm like, to look for me, being a young woman in Rastafari, I respected the Rastafari elder. So I asked her what it is that she needed. So she said to me, just send me to look for you. I need someone to work in my shop. So I'm there and I'm contemplating, but to work in your shop, but I'm working. Okay? So she said, well, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to give me an answer right now. She said, but you can get back to me. She told me where the store was, and if I was interested, that I would come down there and, link with her. So I slept on it for that night. The next morning I got up and I went to the location that she had told me. And it was Shawcraft. Inside the store was so amazing. I could feel so much good energy, you know what I mean? Incense burning and everything, and there was African. And I'm like, this is more like where I would like to be. Being young in Rastafari, open to learning new things, I just figured out this was the place that Jah had I to be.
I remember winding down because the shop at Shawcraft at the time in Freeport, we had basically, the economy at that time started to go down. So we planned on going to Nassau. And so during that period, winding down in our mission to Nassau, Iyata would link I and me and her, and we used to walk the beach every evening after we closed the shop in preparation for our journey to Nassau. And she's a soldier, in a sense, the mission, the works.
Shawcraft, like you said, in Freeport, wasn't just a place where you come shop and listen music and things. Because I would bring the TV, a small TV I had, and I think it was DVDs back in them days. And I would show shows on Bob, Nelson Mandela, Peter Tosh, reggae shows, the music, the history. And so people would come, not just the locals, everyone, and found it not just entertaining, but building knowledge. At first I was no big reasoner, never know a lot. But like Mama Dixon said, you keep reading and you keep revealing.
My job at Shawcraft was to make sure that everyone was satisfied and everyone felt at home when they come into the store. I was the sales person at that time, and later on down became where I had to be the one to run the store whenever she goes. So it's like me having to open the store and taking control of the store. And you may say a job, but it wasn't a job to me. So I can't even relate on a job. She made me feel as I am as a daughter to her more than somebody being hired to do a job. So I couldn't even really place, like she hired me to do a job. but it was just family. She just made you feel like one of her children. You know what I mean? The way how she would nurture with her children. So to say when I started the job, it wasn't really a job, but it was, you know, a family gathering, feeling the love in that time.
When you come to Shawcraft, and many would tell you they came to buy one item, they would buy more than one, but it wasn't about the buying alone, because everybody's searching, just how I was searching, people searching. So whether they're Jewish and they want to know, how come you saying the Ark of the Covenant is in Ethiopia? Or an Oriental person coming in wanted to know about Rasta. But it was, you know, a place where, as you got enlightened, you shared the light.
I could remember early in the morning, by the time we get to open the store, people were already on the outside, just waiting for what she had to offer. And she had like books on Rastafari, she had African clothing, she had a lot of t-shirts, a lot of stuff with Bob Marley. I mean, to name a few, because there were so many things there.
Taking people to Africa. You know, when I went to Africa in '69, people would say to my husband then, man, you crazy, you make that woman carry you to Africa? Man, they going to spare you down there. You ain't going to come back. You know, so that fear of Africa. So when you bring the paintings that would depict the Maasai tribe and the elephants, and it's teaching, it's all about teaching. And so Shawcraft became a place of knowing, knowledge. If you wanted to just feel, you know?
One day I'm in the store, we get in the store, and early in the morning, incense burning, we can hardly see for the frankincense that was burning in the store. And this gentleman just came in the store, you know what I mean, and he was sleeping. So he said, Bob Marley just spoke to him. So Bob Marley tell him, boy, get up out your bed, go down to Shawcraft and wake up and live. And that gentleman, he bought every t-shirt Mama Iyata had. He bought flags, he bought, I mean, everything that he could have gotten. When the tourists come to the store, it was like, they have never seen this, a Rastafari store. You know what I mean? And I mean that was like none other. Whoever set the store up, the way how they set the store up, it was like, oh man, you step into that store and it's like, the energy from you come through the door is nothing but love. And she is only given what she have because she have a heart of love and she don't know nothing else but love.
As we arrived in Nassau, you know, we had to start from scratch. You know, we started selling t-shirts and all artifacts and all things of Rastafari works. We sold those out of the cars, moving through Nassau, you know, going over, checking brethren like Benji, and at that time, may they rest in peace, Jawade and Jadux, you know, all these brethren and stuff. So Nassau itself was a little fight, but Iyata had the courage, the might, the strength of Emperor Haile Selassie Empress Menen. She's a courageous woman, you know, and we ended up setting up shop in Nassau by the embassy on Front Strip of Bay Street. That's how dread she is, you know.
You became not just, you know, a threat as far as awakening the children, but to them you were a peddler, you know, was a druggist, which I never was a druggist, never am. So one of the times the people in the area called the police and I was body searched, a male and female officer. Door was closed, business stopped. Everybody outside waiting to see me come out, lock up. The reason being, people would wait hours. If I didn't come 12 o'clock instead of 9 when the other people opened, people would wait. And once the store opened,
you know, people was always coming in. So they decided among themselves, I must be selling something because it's not normal. So the same officer, I don't remember his name, became one of my best customers because he also was searching. You know, and he would tell me, Miss Davis, I'm so sorry about what happened back then. He said, because, you know, it's the people, them people right in the close around you. They don't understand this Rasta, and, you know, how the people draw into you. They say, some, you got to be selling the thing. But respect, we searched. Even the female officer searched your body, and we found nothing that we could have brought you out in shackles. So to their disappointment and amazement, Jalev. Prisoners of class, hiding behind the glass, too afraid to take off that mask. Oh, what a shame. For today's Sunday, for sure you went to Mass. And for the rest of the day, you sit around watching the programs prepared for you. Yes, red blood red. So now they know where you are. So prisoners of class, hiding behind the glass, on the Sunday after Mass, the air conditioner or the heater will be conditioning your meter. For this is the condition you live under. Come Monday morning, to the job you must go. Again, the working class, working behind the glass, so you can pay them to make you a mass. In all these programs, breathing in all the conditions, have you heard the news? The birds sing today? Or noticed the sun shining? Or have you taken a moment to get from behind the mass to recognize your place in a race as time awaits? As you lock yourself behind the glass, don't be no ass. Wake up and live.
I am the eldest grandchild for Sister Iyata from the eldest child, Andrea. And then there comes Amlak, her first grandson. And then there is Kenyah, her second grandson, and then Princess Soleil that came to finish off the beautiful bunch that she already has. Growing up, Grandma lived up in the hills. We used to just call it up in the hills, but it was really in Cavaliers in Stony Hill. And she had this adorable house by the river. And when I was younger, I used to crave going to Grandma's house, and always, none of my other siblings, which were from my dad's side, I would be the one to always just be like, every weekend I'd want to go to Grandma's house, and it was just a very simplistic lifestyle. It was the river, and we used to do like, you know, different activities like tie-dye t-shirts and cook and watch videos, and wasn't any cable or anything, you know, no video games or anything like that. But all the same, I just enjoyed being around her and her presence, and I learned a lot. Sometimes it's just to appreciate the smaller things that are around you, to understand that there's life around you in different forms, separate from being, you know, human beings. It taught me about how to really care and nurture things on a whole, and just to kind of center yourself, to have your alone time in the mornings, to just kind of meditate. And every morning I'll wake up to this day, and Grandma will have her Bible. She reads it every morning, and she chants every morning before she even leaves her room.
Hi, Shoni. Shoni, love you.
Iyata is basically, she's a healer, you know, she knows how to heal the body, like with physical touch of massage, that kind of energy, like energy work. In the US they call it Reiki and all this kind of fancy name. But she's basically doing stuff like that, like she could touch you, and if you have a sore, she know the right movements with the muscles and all that kind of stuff. If you're not feeling so up to date, if you're not feeling super energy, she'll say, hey son, drink this juice and eat this salad or whatever, and that will just totally revitalize you. So I think Iyata is a national treasure. No, honestly, not many people are like that like trod the earth and they can heal you with a touch, heal you with a meal. And also, if you have anything to talk about, like in terms of, she knows a lot about black culture and black history and that kind of stuff. So it's also a wise person to speak to in terms of just information of who we are as a people.
After returning from Nassau, Bahamas in '92 to my homeland of Jamaica, the Spirit led I here first as coming to visit, overnighting, and just getting the feel of 9 Mile St. Anne. Later on, after a short visit here, I went on into Bath St. Thomas, and there I spent several months between there and Kingston, where my family, my children resided at the time.
Blessed, blessed.
Whoa, mama.
Rasta Steve.
Rastafari, richest blessings. Happy New Year. Nice to see you, mama.
Coming up with mama, she's 100-year-old.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, oh, mama, yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
I remember first my mother, when I was about 6 years of age, staying at the hotel, and she sent to Kingston for me, and I spent a couple of days. That's my first memory of the Bass Fountain Mineral. And it's a place she always would come when she could. And it made me love it because it was the first time all day and night I could hear the water running.
Yes,
sir.
Welcome to the fountain.
Yes, sir.
We get the healing.
So we give thanks for the Bath Fountain, we give thanks for the ones who have been blessed to be here, to administer to thousands and thousands and thousands of people who have been coming here over the years. But I personally want to say, God bless each and every one. Bless Fyah Lion from that time and all the other brethren who have assisted I over the years. And the daughters too. You know, this is where you come and you meet high Rasta, low Rasta, everybody, white, blue, but people who know culture, who know the spirit of the Most High. Every musician, every player of instrument, singer, know them have to come to the bath. You know, and it's not a spa, it's not indoor, you know, it's outside where you can be free and enjoy all the sound and the energy and your sight. And so welcome to the Bath Fountain, one and all. Find your way here because no doctor can do what Jah Rastafari can do for you through the natural mineral bath.
Well, this is the Bath Fountain chill, right down to that one. That one is 130 degree hot from the rock natural. We experience just poor circulation, cannot start this thing of healing. Right? My name is Ian. I'm one of the physicians. If you want like medicine for any type of bush life, I can surely hand it down to you.
It's not too bad to burn here.
No, Monday. Monday coming, 1992, coming in from Nassau, Bahamas. This was the spot that brought I to. Having come here over the years 1 and 2 times with my nephews, Philip and Michael Heholt. When I would visit, I'd come occasionally. But in '92, I came home, so the body did well need healing. I came forward. Ras is helping me up the hill here, the same hill you see me moving up. I like tiger. You come up crawling, but you stand up firm through Jah Rastafari. And went to the room from Ras Daniel up on Beacon Hill. Them time Fyah Lion was a youth. He was a young man. This place holds for me, and I'll bring others, many others over there. That Jah is in the natural, you know. It's 9 months we spend in our mother's womb in water. We swim, we do everything, we can hear everything. The little slap the man give you, make you knock out everything, because we were always swimmers, you know what I'm saying? We are water people, and too late now, we tend to forget our mother, and it's pure shower and quick thing we go, but when you come to the bath and you really want healing, you have to submerge, you have to have the water come past you, just like when you was in mama's womb. Having spent the time here, almost 9 months, coming and going into Kingston, learning to go barefoot, touching with Mama Earth. I would go up and down the hill here barefooted, learning to catch fire outside, rolling down the hill. All the things that you would have to learn and experience in a new way of life, having left, as you would say, Babylon. Here I found not just healing, but people who cared. You know, in this life, unless you find love, what real love is, that is love from each other, then you don't know love.
It's of my greatest pleasure to be here, to behold the beauty of success of what Iyata is putting through. My name is Rasta Steve. I meet Iyata since 92, 93, and it's always been a blessing to be around her. She's a prolific person, and we always admire her, and she always show motherly love. Whenever time she comes, no matter how we down and out, she just brings joy to us, and we always have a smiling face. And there is not word to express about her gratitude or her love that she has to share with us, and it's always overwhelming joy.
We give thanks still, because you see this bath, is many times they've tried to close off access, but through the Most High Jah, because you leave this for us, we can all come. I brought Bob's mother here, Mother Sidella, and at first when she came and she stood on the, because we stayed at the hotel, she stood on the bridge here, and it looked so, you know, and she said, Iyata, I'm not going down there, I'm not going down there. And Gabby at the time was here, and he was sitting right on the stone here, and he said, come down, Miss Booker, come down. And, you know, again, another miracle took place, because whenever I said, let's go to the bath, it would be no hesitation, she was ready. And that helped to preserve her also. And we give thanks for the length of days that I gave her through this water. Yeah, I brought DJ Tiger.
All right. Well, now we are going to touch down in a style of man passing through from Jamaica. One of the most happening DJs right now in the country. The man called Mr. Tiger. Let's hear it.
Hey, stop crying, man. What's wrong? I ain't that bad. I'm in pretty good shape. Well, sorry, fellas. Only good with the truth for dance hall. You bad one was quality.
It's a blessing from God since last year I got. I know Mama, Sister Iyata, about 20 years now. Yes, and also to remind you, the first time I saw her was by my friend living beside me, Everton Mark.
Oh, Sister Iyata, you're about yet. I'm in for my bedroom, I'm going. I'm just going to look some bash here, you know. Yes, Ja.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, pretty girl. How are you doing? Good morning, Mr. Jackson.
She went there to look for him, and I saw her. And from that time, since the last I connection, some people, that's my belief, is what I'm saying to you, some people who shouldn't do it, say, you can't leave it no more, and dead. Which me, I'm saying in my mind, they don't believe in God to pray this last time. I mean, right now, God, this last year, who said, Sister Iyata, here. You know, believe me, one mental, one from, St. Thomas, Bad Fountain. She is the one who took me there because of my situation of motor vehicle accident. And I went up there to get some stuff with the warm water. She took me up there in Strachan. She took me up there. And when I was going for the first time, I was going up there, I remember this. Like, I'm a big man, I can walk, but I had to crawl to go up this slope. But now, no, I run up the slope. Keeps the last year, God no. Oh, that keeps the last year, God. Love it, God. Thank you one time. It's a pleasure.
I brought Prince from Ikechow, I brought Marlene, I brought my children, visitors from the Bahamas, from America. Whoever is blessed enough and have the patience and want to come to something that is not just free, but it's open, and I call it a Rasta place. It's a Rasta place because it's Rasta who will be assisting you when you come here. It's Rastas who live in the hills here in the mountains of St. Thomas. Most everybody is a farmer. You can find coconuts, banana planting, mango, everything, coffee, everything is here because we are part of the Blue Mountains here. So I feel blessed to have, stayed here and spend time here and get to know the ones here. And we'll, like I say, always big up hot water bath because, Jah has left this here for us. There are other springs in the United States, even in Ethiopia, hot water bath. But for Jamaica, this is it. There is Clarendon and there's St. Anne and other places of healing. But this is who I testify about. Hot water bath, Fyah Lion.
Hot. This is one of the hot water bath. Boom, hot. This is one of the hot water bath. I say hot, hot, hot. Hot water bath. People left the way from Manchester come about. Some of them are run, some of them are walk. But I drink water, coconut and wash off them water. I say, here, find a bucket without a cock. Them sent for Fyah Lion, we come nice, them dance all. People from Canada said from England. People from Switzerland said from Germany. And I say people from France. I say down at Japan. Phone and I say link up, I say Fyah Lion. Take them to the place of just the mineral spring. So while me going out and me say someone coming in and me say give thanks and praise unto the Almighty King and give them hot. So the hot water bath, boom, hot. This is one of the hot water bath, boom, hot. This is one of the hot water bath and me say hot, hot, hot. Hot water bath, it was a runaway slave who found the water. Beat it and so by the slave master. But so them go find out the mineral water, cause the world at Jamaica got the water. Boom, bang, bang. St. Thomas, lock out the place of the water. In name last year, Jah, Rastafari, blessed.
Each day is a new day, but everything is the same way. My gift for massaging, healing by touch, was ever from creation, even by word sound. When I first started Shawcraft in Freeport, people wanted me to read them, or if they had a headache, for me to rub them. Even before then, I wanted to help people. In Freeport, I worked on call for Club Fortuna Hotel, 2002 to 4. For the tourists and staff, loved ones as well, many others. Among the artists that I have massaged, Mota Baruka, Luciana, Mikey General, Culture Knox, Sister Marcia.
Here comes Sister Iyata with a difference. Sister Iyata don't come and just give you a massage. She prays before she does what she's doing. And she asks God to just bless her hands, anoint her, that whatever she's going to do will do to the fullness for the person that she's doing it for. And even that alone just made me feel rejuvenated, all instant. And by the time Sister Iyata is finished with you, and she prays again that whatever she just did will do what it is supposed to do in the mighty name of the Most High. And believe me, when you get up from that table, you feel 100% brand new, instant rejuvenation, and your body it comes alive.
Sister Rita, Stephanie Marley, Rohan Marley, Richard Booker, Toots, Bridget Brown, Woody Harrelson and family, Selma Hayek, actress, Donovan, Plague Judah, Bagger, Moses in Miami, doctors, Sister Verna Ballin, Ivy Reed, Mrs. Harris, Daddy Dixon. My massage table was given to I by Sister Sandra from Baltimore, Maryland. She brought it from the U.S. to Freeport. She and Anton have been great sister friends from Freeport days, where they visited 2 or 3 times a year. I give thanks for great friends and sisters along the way.
This is the hills going into 9 miles sometimes. Juja, Rastafari. He that keepeth the eye and eye shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord God, the Rastafari, is thy keeper. He is the shade upon your right hand. The sun shall not smite you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord Haile Selassie, I the first, shall I serve you, Mama. Mama Sidella, from all evil he shall preserve your very soul. This day he shall preserve your going out and your coming in from this time forth, even 5 or more. Rastafari coming forward tonight, man.
I'm going back to the hills. I'm going back to the hills.
They are representing for Mama Iyata. Mama Iyata, a blessed lady from all over this man, all these times. Somebody that we look up to, love and care, Rastafari.
More love and prosperity to Mama. Great Mama, a mother to the world, you know. Yeah, from here and there, you know. The woman always get on and show some positive, good thought and good words, good encouragement every time. So, joy and blessing every time. I'm married there. Rose Rock.
Yes, Rasta.
Yes, Mama.
We're born. I celebrate 74 years. Welcome your today and the rest of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you look well, though, girl.
74 years today.
You big.
Carry on.
Give God thanks.
Yesterday was her birthday.
Thank you.
74. She turned 50.
That's her birthday.
We saw you when you was driving in the truck. We saw y'all two in the car.
Yeah.
Same birthday.
Happy birthday. Yes, you are timeless. And she is 50. You are timeless, my darling. Yes.
I want to be this at 74. I want to be this.
That's right. My goal is to be her.
I'm going to try. How you doing? All right, my sister. All right.
In our time when we need mother most of all, here come Mama Iyata. You know, this Asian patriarch, you know what I mean, Mother Mary figure. Come in a time when we need her so much, you know what I mean, for the community. I speak with a whole battalion behind me. 9 Mile Rasta youth, them and Rasta woman, them can tell you what that is. You know what I mean?
Mama Iyata, a nice lady, man, respectable lady, man. When she come on 9 Mile, she treat you with love and respect. She is like a mother to us, you know. The whole of 9 Mile, everybody on 9 Mile respect Mama. When Mama come on 9 Mile, it's like
the sun shine, you know, it's a blessing. And she always come check me. She never leave me out. Right here now, 9 Mile our place. She welcome her, she can come here anytime. Morning, noon or night. We can if mama anything mama give it. We love mama, respect mama.
Mama Iyata make we know say listen, you can tell her the worst thing. Where you're afraid to tell your own mother. You know what I mean? So that is where she come do for we help I and I for open and acknowledge our third eye. Yeah, for make we stand up on this solid foundation, for make I and I be who we are today.
First time I saw Mama Iyata, it's like an angel I saw it when I saw Mama Iyata, and the feelings there. And I tell you, it's so warm. You get me? Touching. Yeah man, from me a youth. You see Mama Iyata, you see love. You see Mama Iyata, you see Africa. You get me? Them time Garnet Silka sing about hello Mama Africa. You open my eyes when you see Mama Iyata. You see? Yeah, early 90s. It's like, it take a little while before we sight the light, but it's when we see Mama Iyata forward in now. She just current up the whole eye and eye. That she become a current pan to the village.
Hi, how you doing? Oh my goodness. All right. School of Education here in 9 Mile, basic school. And again, we give thanks to Peter Fideli and Mary Maguire and all the other people who have helped. Hi children, good afternoon. Good afternoon. You're all so precious. How old are you? Look at this little one. He's not 3 yet? September. What number? What number? You not get nothing yet? It coming though. Remember, the sign says wait your turn. Everybody has a time, okay? Everybody has a time. You have your time. You have your time. You understand? So just be patient and enjoy the time. Don't rush anything. Yeah, man. Everybody have a birth date. Mine was yesterday. Yeah. Today's yours? Yesterday was mine. Yes.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Yes, I got a daughter, yeah. You know who this is? All right. You ever hear about Jah, Rastafari? Rastafari. No, him don't bury. He's risen, always was up. He never went down. But this is him.
Morning, Auntie. Yes, Auntie. One love, one heart, Auntie.
After leaving Bath St. Thomas, through an assignment I was given to come to 9 Mile. There was a small gift shop. It was Bob Marley, birth and resting place. And I was asked to come and give a hand. Little did I know that that hand would go to many hands and lots of experiences and opportunities. But this became my place of solace, having left the Bahamas after closing business and going through many tests, because one would say, how could you leave all of this to embrace Rastafari and leave with nothing, your hands swinging, and don't know where you're going to stay and how you're going to live. But on coming to 9 Mile, which was supposed to have been once a week, it grew to be more times than once a week, because as I said, this place became a place of solace. And many nights I would rest here as well in Bob's house. I met his mother later on down. I would speak with her and her son Richard on the phone because of the business I was dealing with here. And in about 93, finally, I met Mother B. She came to Jamaica. We met, we sat in the house here and reasoned. And it was, as you would say, love at first sight. Rastafari, Haile Selassie the first. This is now April 17, 2005. We are at the Treasure Beach in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica. Having an Irish time with Mother B. Sister Maggie. Sister Diane out there in the distance. Sister Haya. Just having a wonderful time. Giving ices. Beach combing today? Are we beach combing?
What? It's like me, Sister Iyata, Sister Diane, and Maggie right now. We are in unity and in one, enjoying the life and the breath that Jah has given us. To inhale the free smell of the ocean.
Look at
to open our lungs and to expand as the sea and the waves dash against my breast. Yeah. Enjoying ourselves to the highest. No gift on earth no man could ever give us to compare with what we are receiving right now. In this water, this precious water, that healing water that God has given to mankind.
What brought me here was the spirit, always the spirit, you know. Bob's music, when I was in the Bahamas as a young woman, I was always, you know, listening to conscious music. As a yardie, you took your music over there with you and you introduced others to it. But coming home and not knowing where you go, what you're going to do, the question to ask me is, what is your plan? How are you going to live? What you come home with? And to everything was, me no know. But through Selassie, I said to her, come and I'll take care of you. Brother Bob in spirit said, come and I will take care of you, because it was more about letting go of having all the security and responsibilities and say, you know, monetarily, financially you're able. Letting go of all of that, let go, and just come. And you know, many of the people you see here were youths when I came. And simple living, farming is the life source here in 9 Mile. But it was a love, it was like a family place, it still is. That everybody knew everybody, everybody's connected indirectly or directly with each other. So the caring for other people's children is always united. And this is the kind of love, and this is the place that Bob grew up in. So to understand the man, you know, you go and see movies and videos of him as a superstar and a major star in this earth. And this is where it all began, you know. So I personally give thanks to have been led to come and serve. I call it my time of service. To have been humbled enough to be a servant of the Most High. To assist Bob's mother, to be with her until, you would say, her rising to the higher heights of Zion.
He's ever living, he's ever faithful, and he's ever sure. This time and this place. We ask the Father God to bless Mother D, to continue to strengthen her, to continue to guide and protect her, to give her renewed energy and strength, to light unto her path and a lamp unto her feet. Yes. Gather us together, O dry night, and give us all the peace and the oneness of heart. Yes. We can serve you all the days of our and I life, so I and I praise God. Over us, Lord, this day that thou hast made, and continue to bless us and guide us and protect protect us and defend us and comfort us with your Alaskan shield, on your right hand and on your left. Yes. Surround us with thy divine love, good job, Rastafari, as you walk and talk. Haile Selassie I Jah.
Rastafari.
Haile Selassie I first Jah.
Rastafari.
Haile Selassie I first Jah.
Rastafari. Selassie.
She's very simple, you know, but very, very powerful. You get me? Yeah. She look like, you understand? But reasoning her, she's a giant. You get me? And she's a masterpiece.
We have been blessed with one such mother. I'm just telling you about, just one, because this one's so special to us. Yes, of course. For whatever reason, we're talking to you about Mama Iyata, because Mama B is here and she's not here. But Mama Iyata, in the middle of the night, you wake up and you see her. You wake up in the morning and you see her. Mama Iyata, Diane, and of course, Mama B sometimes cheer it on. Probably she called Mama B and said she just feel like going to 9 Mile tonight. Or Mama B said, Mama Iyata, I want you to go on 9 Mile and check on this or do that. And we just wake up and see her. She tried to make we know that nothing can stop us but ourselves. So she would come here, drive from Kingston and come here in the middle of the night. She alone in her vehicle. So them life that we grew up and have as example.
All right. To think how Jah had me and you set. You there first, because we didn't know each other. And you and I, if we're going this way, I have to pass you. And then when we get to know each other, we was up in the hills. Yeah.
It's not a
planting,
yes.
no.
Yeah,
man. We talk about days like, it was a Saturday afternoon, don't remember which month, but we were going to 9 Mile. Your the vehicle was down, so I come and pick you up. Yeah? And as you came up to the roadside, okay, remember them days you can't drive down to the gates, we put the stuff in the car, and you had this spliff lit, and the police car came by, observed us. I was trying to eyes you to say, police, It's not like today where they say it's legal. But we have always been legal because Jah gave it to us for our personal use. So, as we proceeded, they had waited down the road by the bridge. They were parked. Yeah. So I take them past them. I think we stop and they stop us. They stop us. Yeah, because you had a big head spliff.
No, but I didn't see anything. So
no, you didn't see them.
What kind of signal you gave me to tell me it's a police? I never even known a police passed me. What place? That I
was observing you.
I had the big spliff in my job. And I couldn't even say hi this hand because I was putting something into the trunk. So my hands were occupied. So I could put the spliff in my jaw corner.
And I trying to set her up.
Then they passed like that, So I didn't even see them. So when I had to tell me the police, I said, what you doing? I said, gone. Of course, by the time we reached the bridge, the boat them stopped down there, waiting for us. Flag down Iyata. They never found out none of us, did they?
No, we reason, as we always do. Without fear, we reason. And then they said, okay, we could go ahead.
Go ahead, yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah.
So, yes,
for quite a while, they falling back us.
No, then behind us, so I had to give them a whole woman drive now. So,
cut down to 20 miles an hour.
5 miles an hour, So let's see how long these brutes them go and drive behind us. So they took the
after a while,
punishment for everything. Then eventually they passed us and went ahead and we just light up again.
Yeah.
Light up again. But I remember, no one can be a smoker.
9 Mile is my home. 9 Mile is my heart. This is where, like I said, the people, it's a beautiful place. It has many mountains. You talk about Rome having many hills and the 8 hills of Rome, but we have more than 8 here. It's just hills and hills joining. My joy is the people. I grew up with them. I learned who I was as Rasta, being here with them. Learning just how to be, you know, because it's not like here on clock and appointments. People rise at a certain hour without any alarm, any clock, and you know, well, it's time to go to the bush or to the vineyard, and you come in and you have a little breakfast, and it's what you grow, you eat, and eat what you grow. Simple, not a lot of money and all that glamour. So to me, this was purging. This is where I could find soul. We call it consciousness, soul. Because I was experiencing what Brother Bob would have gone through as a young person, walking barefoot in the brick, and not much don't change, you know what I'm saying? Buildings are up, but it's the same road for going up this way and going up that way. It's the same thing, same family names are here. So, led me to 9 Mile, the Divine Spirit, because you know.
You're the one who taught me to smoke, Iyata.
Me meet you and Mother
From
B.
the hallowed
Look
halls
here.
of justice. I knew nothing about smoking.
You and Bob smoking, I only come on the tail end. I come now and meet you and Mother B rolling. You understand? There was no, it was like peas in the pod. It's you and Mother B always.
I'm sure my first memory of
you know?
was sitting up in the hills in 9 Mile with one of those, what they call the Bob Marley spliffs. You know, big one like that.
That's 9 Mile, yeah.
And you had that in your jaw corner.
Well, I wouldn't say no to that because at that time the youths them
and I forget about
would
you
bring
also
me
drinking a cup of ganja tea.
Could also Uncle Lloyd tea. Could be.
Yeah.
Because listen, I'm coming from a place where them things was not available nor, you know, coming from Bahamas, you reach a 9 Mile up in the hill in Bob Marley town where it's nothing but just simple love.
A spiritual place.
Yes, you know.
I mean, it has that spiritual energy.
Then I lead you in the spirit for us to be connected.
Energy, yeah, man.
And the youth them would roll the spliff, nothing small like this, a Bob Marley spliff. And then each person make sure I have Dan leaf tree, Dave leaf tree, Donovan leaf tree, and whoever else. Mom, you all right? It's like Mom would say, when you're in Jamaica, you don't even have to finish a spliff, you know, you just pick up the next one. You can all, if it's not so good, you just share them long nails and she would just say, flick it out. In Miami, we can't do that, you know, we have to keep it. But here, next spliff, so I love it.
Got you there. One blessed love. Glad to have you in the house, Brother Daddy.
This is like a miracle.
Yes, sir.
This man so much on television.
Yes, sir.
I never know I would be able to.
Yeah, it's on record. Yeah. Very good.
Beautiful day.
Yes, it is.
Oh, this is a movie one. You have to react action. Come, Jacob. We need a dread in there.
Yeah, come on.
Jacob, he's going to show it to his granddaughter.
Go ahead, Jacob, go in there. They want you so bad.
They want you in there, Jacob.
They want you so bad.
We want it too beautiful.
Oh,
Here we
Jacob.
go.
Oh, the face of an angel.
Is that me? That's my grandson.
One love, one heart, one almighty Jah. Majesty, the keys to the city of Reach. Mother B, we love you. Yes. Bless up mama, bless up mama, bless up mama. Every time.
One more time I want to give up. And she said, no, there is no such thing. You know what I mean? Your life, it's supposed to be your story later on. So the harder, the rougher it is today, the greater your story is tomorrow. You know what I mean? If you falter and you fall or you give up, you just destroy everything. You know what I mean? So she always there for us to cheer us on. You know what I mean? Mama B, yes, of course, because she's the Mother Mary, the Queen Mother, you know what I mean? But, whoa, Mama Iyata, she's just as valuable. Diane did just as valuable. You know what I mean? And so much more. When she opened her mouth, you listen, because she's this Godhead that when she talk, you know what I mean, the authority, her voice run right through you. You know what I mean? So you don't want to, you know, go against that, you know what I mean? And then of course the comfort where she give you, and for open up and for make she can talk to you that way, you know what I mean? You know, it's golden, and these days it's more valuable as you grow old.
When me leave upside, I don't know where me I go. Me don't know what me I go do. But picking them say, what is your plan? And only it would seem to others like total madness. Walking away from a thriving business and, you know, being known and all this kind of thing, and travel earth and all this kind of thing. But Marcia, when Bob say, stop, look and listen, you have to come to a place like this of silence and solitude where you can actually stop, look, and listen. Because there's always a natural mystic blowing through the air. And if you listen carefully, you will. Yeah. So that really depends.
All right, Sister Iyata.
Yes.
Blessed day.
Yes, I.
9 miles, Mama birthday.
Yes.
Yes, we're blessed to be here.
Yes, I.
Give thanks for
Ras
it.
Daniel.
And Rastafari is about to head down to Ochirios.
Yes,
we're going to have a big Earth Day celebration for Mama B. And that's a special one for the Queen, you know?
Yes, sir.
Mother of Bob, you know?
Yes,
Mother of
sir.
Irish.
Irish.
Yeah, man, we're going to enjoy ourselves tonight.
Truly,
the Queen Mama, alright?
Yes,
Rastafari.
Rastafari. Yes, sir. Bless.
See you right now. No, tell her so she can't see me today. Tell her she must come back.
Oh, hi, Mama. Happy birthday.
Hi, darling. Thank
How
you
are you?
She just get your very I'm doing very well. You see that, Mama? I have to love catching me. Yeah. You don't forget to read your everything.
Having met Mother B, 92 by 93, I visited her in Miami, and she was telling me she was also going to have a surgery on her knee, and she had asked Jah for someone to come and assist her during that time, and would I be that one who would come and assist her. So we started that leg of the journey. After she had the surgery, I was with her, helped her through the mending period, and as time went by, we grew closer. It was, and it still is, a humbling experience to have been around Mother B. Mother B is a unique spirit. Only a royal queen such as she is and was could bring forth such a royal son as Bob Marley. Coming from our humble beginnings of 9 Mile or Bethlehem in this time, she as a young mother brought forth this child who became the healing source of this whole earth, not just of Jamaica. So I was honored, and still am honored and deeply touched to have been a part, and she been a part of my life as we grew closer over the period of years.
I don't mind, son. I want to make it. Yeah.
I want to warn you, this morning I thought it's like water.
Yes,
it's a drink.
It caused me by surprise, very much so.
Yeah, it's like a drink.
Anybody see my trial? You come in, I think when you have in a Senegal.
Purple?
Yeah. And the bread I saw what it tastes bad. Oh. Now buy no more yogurt.
Mother B made I feel like not as a daughter, you know, and like I say, being around her was a humbling experience, because even though I would say I was a big woman and I, you know, had a home and knew how to prepare meals and how to clean, she came with higher teaching than that. And so I was just humbling. Some days I would cry, because if you were fixing her meal and it wasn't presentable, it didn't look good, you don't even have to say it tastes good, but just look at it and she said, where you go with that? And as a big woman, you had to turn her wheel and come again. So me know class, she had class. My lady could write music, sing music, play piano music.
I also sing.
Doctor said what?
And then I said, Doctor, you listen to music? I said, this is gospel. You know, but it has some strong message in it too.
You could either do, it's something to do with the United Nations, the UNESCO.
The children.
Yes. So it could be something.
That's what I'm saying. It's let the children.
Yeah, let the children play would be a great song.
Let the children play.
Yeah.
All right, I could try that.
Fun City, I know the key that you're singing in, but let me just hear your voice so I don't put you in a higher key, because your voice is still warming up.
Ooh, we're going on a hunger strike today.
Give me 1 minute, I got it. I'll set it up.
No, me going to start revolution over here. Hey! Listen, Mama said that.
Hear me, Lord, hear me when I pray. Let the children pray, no child should ever grow so hungry now. Let the children pray, no child should ever grow so hungry now. Let the children stay, no child should ever grow so hungry for the love of Jah. Love must find a way, let it be today.
My sister, she also could make coffee from the beans right through. She made pepper sauce, she made dolls. She taught us, she gave us love. Everyone who came in contact with Mother Sidela, you know, like I said, at our seal up, it took someone with a big, big heart to love so many of us, and that she was. Anybody who was rejected, you could be a OJ, you could be a Woody Harrison, you could be high as well as you could be a low. Mama arms open. She never ever finished a plate of food without turning and saying who she could give some food to. You understand? That's the kind of lessons Mother B was.
Mystical music was the motto mix in every song, talking about the house that Bob built. By Jah's own holy decree, he built a house to stand the test of time eternally. Pretenders may come, imitators may go. Bob Marley remains the star of the show. He built a house of recognition for all to see. Every walk of life know his work universally. It was the house that Bob built. He turned suffering into an ideology, made Rastafari his philosophy. He turned alienation into an independent, spiritual nation. One love, the ultimate of creation. Long, long after Babylon has fallen down, the house Bob built will remain on solid ground. We'll sing his songs and dance with glee, give praise to Jah. Bob built the house for you and me, talking about the house that Bob built. People, don't you know I'm talking about the house that Bob built? Reggae music and mystic life, Rasta in a concrete jungle, enduring misery and strife. Wherever you roam, the house was built will welcome you home. One love, one heart, one destiny, one love. Rastafari lives. Jah!
Rastafari! Jah! Rastafari! Jah! Rastafari! Live I, Selassie I, Majesty, Emperor the First. She come into Jamaica Christmas or whatever time, she would go shopping months, getting things from us, this, miss that, the children around the corner. And it was a joy for her to come home. This is home, like she always say, where else is there? 9 Mile. You know, to come home and share with our loved ones. And me and her used to walk street and she would go to people she knew from a young girl and see how they're doing and give them a strength. And even that was an experience, you know, because when I met her, most of the time she would be driving in and out. But I would encourage her and I'd say, Mama, let's go walk up the road, and let's go to 8 Mile. And she said, well, you want me to go so far? And I say, man, exercise, you know? And all these things gave her more time.
I remember one time we were in Miami together because we always taking care of my auntie, Sidala Mali Booker. Sister Iyata now, she was in Jamaica, I was in Miami with my auntie. So auntie said eat some vegetable now, so Sister Iyata come up there. She said, oh, my real doctor come, she's my doctor, she's my chef. Sister Iyata do not want beside her. She go to the Jamaican store, she buy yam, and she come and she cook a stew. I remember me tell you, that was the best stew I ever eat.
Right, turn here.
Turn here.
Right here, yes.
Which way do we walk?
And when I speak from the heart. I'm also a lion. And you know, when I roar, I roar. But you know, when I'm quiet, I'm very calm. You know, so when I speak, just let everything come out of the heart.
Thank you, Mama B.
So we go forward to being here with her, being in Miami with her, going to Ethiopia in 2005, the celebration of Bob Ali's Earth Strong at the Mascal Square in Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Sabbath day, the 1st, 29th day of January 2005. Just returning home from the hospital another day and giving thanks and praise to them. We traveled together. You know, when we reached from Washington to Rome, they brought on a birthday cake for Brother Bob and asked her to cut it, and right in the plane the celebration started. When we reached to Addis Ababa, and we look out the window, I said, Mama, look there, they had a red carpet out strung with red roses petals for her to, oh Jah, for her to be welcome, to come home. The people were playing drums. They were excited because this was Bob's mother. You know, for African people, we know about mother and we know about father time still, but to know somebody mother different to knowing your wife or your husband or your children, to know where you come from. So it was a jubilant time.
I beg you, stand up for you. Wayo!
Say we never give up the fight. Say we can't give up the fight. Say we never give up the fight. Say we never give up the fight. Say we never give up the fight.
She had a little spell of illness while she was there, and again the love of the people. We had 5 doctors attending to her that night, Ethiopian doctors at His Majesty's military hospital, that's where she was. And when we discovered, I asked, the beds, 2 beds were in the room, very tiny, I would say, like twin beds. And I asked, doctor, whose beds are these? And the doctor said, this one is for Her Majesty, and this one that Mama is in is His Majesty's bed. And Mom said, praise Jah Rastafari, I am healed. The next day she was able to be on stage performing, singing and meeting the people of Ethiopia. And she was healed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when the man told us that is His Majesty's bed, you know, that's the single bed. Yes. Man, what a blessing, what a healing.
I'm telling you.
Yes, you see, everything happened for a purpose.
Yes, yes.
Maybe if his nose wasn't bleeding, then I would be able to go. But we give Jah praise and
you
thanks.
never, not even, you never walk in here. If you ever go to the road, leave her up.
And downstairs. All right. How good and how pleasant it is for I and I to dwell together in unity.
And may the age be protected.
Infant care far.
Yes.
Yeah. Seal.
So, all we can say is, Bob Marley come from a royal lineage. In mother royal, when Tara sing about she's royal, many of us might be royal, but she is R-O-Y-A-L-L, royal to all. And I say, respect Mother B. You have humbled I, you have blessed I to come and let the world know who. Because many people, even in our own country, don't know Mother B. They don't know, they hear of her, but they don't know her because she was in the States many years. So me here to testify who Mama Shidella, Malcolm, Marley, Booker is and always will be. She is royal. And we thank her for Bob Marley. We thank her for the lineage because she gave all our love. All our love. And it still is like the river that does stop. It's still running. So respect Mama. Respect me, Iyata. Say respect to you and give thanks. I give thanks. I give thanks. Selassie, I know. I.
Hi, this is Soleil, and I'm gonna talk about Grandma conducted by me. So I should talk about Grandma about she loves me than anyone before she's in Jamaica. Even she give me, her name is Patricia Rose, and she learned about Bob Marley, and she loved me. She comes to my house for a visit, and then she really loved me because I love her too. Mommy just called her and I talked to her. I said, "Hi, Grandma," and she said, "Hi, Soleil."
My grandma has more experiences with life than we can imagine. She is respectful and caring to her family and friends. She's always full of good advice to help you with making life decisions. Wherever she goes, she leaves her mark. I am blessed and grateful to have you as part of my family. Love you, Grandma.
She's a woman who's very blessed, well loved, well respected, and someone who will leave a trail. Our legacy is one that she'll leave behind that shares and gives love and shares herself with her fellow human beings. She's not a selfish person. She's a giving person and one who radiates love.
And, you know, I just love continually.
Ironically, I didn't realize the name of this documentary was Spirit-ual Healer. And it's funny that you just brought it to my attention now. Because that's truly who she is. She's a healer of spirits and of souls, man. You know, she comes into your life, sometimes for a big reason, sometimes for a small reason, but she allows you to heal that soul. You know, you find that hurt that you're feeling. Like I said, I was hurt over my little brother and I cry and have sleepless nights about it, but I shall allow you to listen to those voices and to get in touch with who you are and the oneness of who you are. You can feel your spirit start to heal. You know what I'm saying? It's a remedy for your soul, man. It's incredible. Miss Booker said the right thing. She is her spiritual healer. And without even realizing until right now, she has also been my spiritual guide, my spiritual healer.
We really had some good times.
Yes, I.
Yes. You had some good times out here too. You're a fighter. Nobody can fight you down. A real good fighter.
Sister Iyata, I just have to tell you that I have always loved you as a sister from the day I met you, and I'll always love you because it's not a lot of us that is around, and I know that you are genuine and real, and you are truly blessed by Almighty God, and I'm happy that I could share your journey. I was a part of your journey and still is, and I'm happy that you are truly blessed.
You know, long journey. Pat Pam, I'm now 84. I'm very pleased to say that. And Pat, I think, is now 74. So just the two of us left. I'm the first and she's the last. And I think we have had a long and pleasant and blessed life. We thank the Father. Amen.
The journey to spiritual has been long coming, you know, because the early years, our journey to spiritual was through churches. But when she found Rasta, it became the natural fit, the perfect fit for that. You know, it embodied everything that she had always felt and known about herself, but now it gave it a context, a philosophy, an identity, a leader that, you know, makes her a more effective spiritual healer than she has ever been in her life. But she has always been that. She has now just grown to a stronger, you know, force of energy, of positivity, of love.
Yeah, hi Angel. Go back some more, you too near.
Pardon?
Go back some
a
more.
lot of lessons I learned from a young age. A lot of people still are not able to learn that to this day, you know, and may not be able to even come into such a presence, such a powerful presence and being that is able to change your life in such amazing ways, you know? And I would say she's definitely a part of the reason why I'm who I am today. Yeah, so I love you. And it's an honor to be able to so it's an honor to let you know how I feel before, while I still have time.
Over the years, you know, our path crossed on our journey, and I'm always amazed, I'm always joyful to see her and to see the contributions that she has made, because she has made some serious contributions as an individual, as a mother, as a sister, as a friend. And she is still on this journey.
She has a very easy way about herself, and she has advised me and helped me throughout my life. So when you hear her auntie call, no matter how busy you are, you have to stop, because you know it's like a blessing coming to you. You have to talk to her.
And I have to also feel she have a certain feeling within her presence, which is a good feeling.
Like certain people, you see them and you feel her. You see her, you feel just life. You feel positive. You feel good. You feel relief. Like, oh, I see this person today, and my day just got even better. You know.
And she had a ever-living influence on my life, and it just was more encouragement and more strength, you know. And it's just a joy to be in her world, you know. So she will go on in our memories forever.
Lots of love, Mama Iyata. She know me as Jenny. She called me Jenny. Jennifer Major. And through her, I am now strong because I met my husband through Mama Iyata. And so for that, I am so happy. We have been together now over 20 years. And from then to now, we give thanks for the joy and the wisdom she's imparted to us.
Just know that if you have come in contact with Mama Iyata, it will never be the same. She is nothing but love, nothing but nurturing, nothing but, you know what I mean, giving. All her life she's just been doing the works of Rastafari, you know what I mean, and showing us the way of Rastafari, and showing us when we feel like we down, Rastafari is there to hold I and I up, you know what I mean. So I give thanks for this opportunity. Jah Rastafari.
We love you, Mama. Jah Rastafari.
Sister Iyata, you know, great person and a mother, just not for her children, but for all of us, you know. Great. Enough words cannot express that greatness that, you know, she bestowed upon I and I.
It's not a one-time crossing for me, it's a crossing of many paths. So we love you, Mama, and you know, we hope that you continue to cross paths with many more. God bless.
This is definitely a story that needs to be told. So I take this opportunity once again to say thank you, Mommy. Thank you so much for being who you are. And I'm happy now to say that we're good with sharing you with the world. I love you.
So while the breath is in the body, use it wisely. Let Jah be your comfort and your guide, your strength and deliverer. This life trod is not an easy road. Still, Jah promised to be here for us all the way. And when the breath goes, spirit released and total freedom to just be. Carefree, one with all the divine spirits and the Almighty. Something to work and look forward to. Death is a sweet sleep into the light of life. Sweetness, love, much celebration on arrival, welcome. Nothing to fear, enough love, music, spiritual high, wow, pure sweetness. So rest on, beloved sister, for you're safe now. Heartfelt thanks to all, and may Jah Rastafari bless you all. Dress up and sing and dance.
So, time to sing it now. Don't worry about a thing. So every little thing gonna be alright. Sing, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds, it's by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a million pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you.